Hi there, Mark Jabin here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department, and let's talk about this pandemic. In today's video, let's dig a bit deeper into a safer Thanksgiving, because there's no reason to be scared and every reason to be careful. So here are suggestions for no risk, low risk, or maybe if you can tolerate more risk. You make your choice. And please share this with someone you care about. So let's say you can absolutely not afford to get COVID. Maybe you have an underlying health issue, or maybe you're a main caregiver for someone who does. Or maybe you cannot miss work, or your kids just have to be in school for their sake and yours. There are two ways to have no risk at all. Number one, stay home and gather remotely. Or, number two, everyone who will be together quarantined for 14 days beforehand. This is the incubation period of the virus, and if no one gets sick during this time, everyone's clear, even if someone had been exposed prior to their quarantine period. And if no one has any possible exposure between the end of their quarantine period and the time of the gathering, do what you want. But, spoiler alert, it only takes one person to undo all this effort. So let's say that these are not practical options. So here's what to do to prevent as much risk as possible of exposing others at your gathering. First, if someone is sick, they should stay home and isolate. Second, if in the past 14 days someone had a close contact, exposure with a person known to be positive, that's within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes without a mask, they should not come. They should be quarantining at home. Anyone, third, awaiting a test result should stay at home. Well, what about family traveling from elsewhere or college students coming home and getting a test? And we're making the assumption here that no one of these folks has any symptoms and no one is sick. Well, the question is, were they exposed in the past 14 days? If so, they should be in quarantine and stay separate. And here's the thing. The test can only tell you what their condition was on the day the specimen was collected, and not since. What about the time between then and arrival at your gathering? And be aware, especially aware if their test was an antigen test, a rapid antigen test. A single negative test in someone without symptoms might seem reassuring, but in this situation, the test is just not capable of helping you, one way or the other. And this is the reason to be careful about the measures everyone takes at the gathering. This is the danger with pre-symptomatic infection. A person can be contagious without any symptoms for a couple of days before getting sick, and there's no way for you to know. So use this tool to estimate the risk you are willing to take in case someone there is pre-symptomatic. So, number one, if everyone washes hands 10 times a day, you can see the risk for everyone is cut by half, about 55%. If everyone just maintains a distance of greater than 6 feet at all times, say sitting apart while eating rather than all being around a table, then risk is decreased by 80%. And you'll see here that if only you wear a mask all the time, that's an 80% reduction for you. Everyone wears a mask all the time, that's a 94% reduction for everyone. And if you put all these together, hand washing, distancing, and wearing a mask, 99.4% reduction in risk, even if someone there is infected. So what does this mean? Well, let's say you're having 20 people gather for a meal, and let's say that one person there happens to be pre-symptomatic. Statistically, around 50% or 10 of those there might well get infected. If all these measures are put into place, then at 99.4% reduction of risk, no one gets infected. The pre-symptomatic person will likely get symptoms in a day or two, but it stops right there. No one else at your gathering would have to quarantine, miss work or school, or endanger others. You know, the time to act is before the symptoms start showing up. The time to act is before there's an exposure. By then, it's too late. The cat is out of the bag. And once out of the bag, all the disrupted lives and jobs, not to mention the health risks to all those who came in contact with people at your gathering. All of it largely preventable by being open to having a Thanksgiving that just looks a little bit different. So I know with a little thought and a little togetherness, you can figure out how to keep everyone from being a close contact and have a safer Thanksgiving. So be well and be careful, especially right now.